Welcome to Rogers Center. This is the final game of this short 3-game homestand, and just before the ball game, a tremendous honor was paid to Bob Elliott, longtime baseball writer, 30 years of service writing about baseball, and he got a chance to throw out the first pitch. And knowing Bob, he was embarrassed by this whole to-do about the Hall of Fame. He said that one was wide as he threw it to Omar Vizquel, but he should be very proud. He will be the award winner for the J.G. Taylor Spink Award for writing excellence. He'll go into the Hall of Fame, the first Canadian writer to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And
well-deserved. This guy knows a little something about baseball. I love listening and reading his column.
Does a great job of chronicling the young players across Canada. Many act as Indians. They have split the first 2 games of this series, and they've been dramatically different. A 1-0 game and 11-9. Michael Brantley, Blue Jays can't figure out how to get him out. He is 6 for 8 in the series. He's doubled, hit a home run, and they haven't had much success against Michael Brantley. They've done a good job top of the order. Sin-Soo Choo and Asdrubal Cabrera have combined to go 1 for 16 in this series. Jason Kipnis, Travis Hafner, Carlos Santana, who's behind the plate for the first time in this series. Casey Kotchman, Johnny Damon, and Jack Hanahan round out the Indians lineup.
Carlos Villanueva will get the ball for his 3rd start of the season. It's been 10 days in between starts, so he is well rested. Last time out, that was that July 4th game against the Kansas City Royals. Gave him 6 innings, 4 hits, and 7 strikeouts. In that game, he had a very good curveball and a good changeup last time that he was on the mound for the Blue Jays. For his career, he has made 4 appearances, 1 start against the Indians with a 0-0 record. His last start, July 7th of last season against Cleveland, he had a no decision. Defense that will play behind Villanueva this afternoon: Francisco, Rasmus, and Bautista in the outfield. Left to right across the infield, Laurie, Escobar, Johnson, and Encarnacion. J.P. Arencibia gets the call this afternoon to be the battery with Villanueva. And then Francisco in left field. This is just his 2nd start in the outfield. They want to give Rajai Davis a couple of days to get it back together.
Rajai Davis 0 for 24, and Ben Francisco gets an opportunity to start today. First pitch of the ball game to Sin-Soo Choo. Cut on and foul out of play. We mentioned Choo. He's just 1 for 8 in this series. They've done a good job with the top 2 in this batting order, keeping them off base.
Yeah, it's been the bottom of the order that has given a lot of problems to the Blue Jays in this series.
Good fastball catches the inside corner. 0-2.
Villanueva is a lot like Aaron Laffey, where he doesn't, wow you with miles per hour, but he can move that fastball in and out, up and down. I think for him to be successful, he needs to pitch inside.
By pitching inside, that would certainly set up his off-speed pitches. If he makes the Indians aware that he can throw strikes inside with the fastball, everything else becomes better.
And again, his curveball and changeup were outstanding last time out.
There's the curveball. First strikeout in the afternoon comes on the hook.
Season high 7 strikeouts last time against the Royals. A lot of them just like this. This pitch was set up by that high fastball, the previous one. It changes the eye plane for the batter, and then you drop that hook on Choo, and you pick up the first strikeout.
Shortstop Asdrubal Cabrera. He too has been shut down. 0 for 8 in the series. He just breaks that over. First pitch single into right. Got the fastball, and Villanueva was trying to come inside again.
That's okay. As long as you establish that you're going to get ahead early, you're going to use your fastball. You got to make them hit their way on.
Villanueva's done a good job against lefty hitting this year coming into this game. Left-handers have hit just 184 against Villanueva. And as Pat mentioned, he's not overpowering, but boy, the combination of pitches proved to be very effective.
I think he's going to have to do that today. He's going to have to really mix it up against the Indians. They are a pesky bunch. They don't strike out a lot. They put the ball in play. So he's going to have to throw strikes. Problems that the team got into in yesterday's game, the Blue Jay pitchers, is when they fell behind.
Jason Kipnis, second baseman. Villanueva gets ahead again. Well, that is such an important aspect of pitching when you're not an overpowering guy.
Strike one. You need it, I think, to get in and get out. The type of pitchers like Carlos Villanueva, they need to get in and out. Maybe 3, maybe 4 pitches to each batter, so you're not showing them too much.
Once again, he's ahead 0-2. There are the numbers for his career against Cleveland. 4 games. Mentioned that one start. That came last July 7th in Cleveland. He pitched a great game. 6 innings, didn't allow a run, walked 2 and struck out 7. Blue Jays went into the bottom of the 9th with a comfortable lead, but Travis Hafner hit a grand slam home run off Luis Perez, and the Indians walked off the Blue Jays. 0-2 pitch in the dirt. This big game for the Blue Jays. Give them a series win. Give them a win to head out on the road. They'll go to New York, take on the Yankees for 3. Then John Farrell's team will have an off day on Thursday before they start a 3-game series with Boston.
Yeah, they know what lies ahead of them. A couple of very good teams that they're trying to chase down in the wild card.
Check swing, and the appeal is denied to third. Everybody knows how hot the Yankees are. Just got to pick up a paper every day. Robinson Cano is going off. The Yankees have an 8-game lead over Baltimore, who's second in the American League East.
Yeah, and just like that, they have the best record in baseball. They have passed the Texas Rangers in terms of wins and winning percentage.
Ball is in the dirt, snagged by Encarnacion. Yeah, the Yankees, everybody kept saying, well, they don't have the pitching to keep them there. But you know what? They got a ton of hitting.
Yeah. And their bullpen, even without Mariano Rivera, is still pretty good. Running situation, I think, for the Indians here. 2-2 count. So Villanueva's trying to keep them close. Almost threw that one away.
Another ball in the dirt. Aaron Sevilla couldn't find it, and Cabrera picked up on that and moves into second. That eliminates the possibility of a double play. There'll be a wild pitch charge to Villanueva.
Curveball in the dirt. Kipnis stays off of it. It hits Aaron Sevilla, rolls up his arm, and then dies at home plate. Cabrera initially was not going, but then when he realizes that Aaron Sevilla cannot find the baseball, he moves up 90 feet.
So Cabrera is now in scoring position at second. Kipnis is walked for the 4th time in this series, and that has been a problem for the Blue Jays.
That one hurts because he was ahead 0-2 and then lost him. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Carlos Villanueva, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. He's got to use that fastball. He uses it about 40% of the time. Curveball and the changeup are big pitches for him. He mixes in a slider every now and then, but basically he's a 3-pitch mix type of pitcher. He's got to keep the ball down because he doesn't throw the ball by you. He has had experience starting, and the Blue Jays feel very comfortable with him on the mound.
Travis Hafner, the DH. He came on as a pinch hitter in yesterday's ball game and had an RBI single. Again, Villanueva jumps out in front with strike. Hafner hit the home run on Friday night, the only run of the ball game. That home run came in the second inning. He led off the second inning with a solo home run off Ricky Romero. That was his 196th career home run.
He is closing in on the record for home runs.
Cabrera broke toward third and for some reason chose not to run, but he had a good jump.
Yeah, he certainly did, and I think that's why Aaron Sevilla has gone out there to talk to Villanueva, to let him know, hey, vary it a little bit, hold it, give him a couple looks. You can see Cabrera, he's got a couple of stolen bases this year, and he's been thrown out 3 times. I guess in his mind, he didn't feel like he got that good of a jump.
If it was a fake, it was a good one.
It faked us out, didn't it?
Ball and a strike. 1 out. Just missed. He's hit with a lot of power against the Blue Jays. We mentioned the walk-off grand slam he hit against Luis Perez last July. It came in Cleveland. Three and one. One thing we have seen with this Indian lineup is the fact they're patient. They lead the major leagues now with 320 walks. They'll make you throw it over.
Yeah, they don't strike out a lot. They see a lot of pitches. This is something that they have put into their minor league system, that they start at the lowest levels in the minor leagues, and they try to get the players to buy into pitch counts and taking a lot of walks and taking pitches and really wear down that starter.
Ball is popped into left field. Ben Francisco moving in a few steps, and Hefner's retired. That's a big out for Villanueva. So with 2 on and 2 outs, Carlos Santana, the catcher, will step into the batter's box. Santana has 4 walks in this series, but he's just 1 for 5.
And he leads this team in base on balls. Santana very patient at the plate. He's got 50 base on balls already this season.
Problem with that is he's hitting .221.
Yeah.
And with those 50 walks, his on base percentage is .345, but still you'd like to see him more aggressive and more productive.
Yeah, I'd like to see him open it up just a little bit more. Those borderline pitchers that are just off the plate, maybe go ahead and swing away and try and knock in some runs. You're in an RBI spot in the batting order. I'm sure Manny Acta wants to see his number 5 hitter knock in runs.
Santana, his last 2 weeks have not been very productive. 167 average, 1 RBI. And that's a big problem for Cleveland.
Pitchers just refusing over the last couple of weeks throwing him fastballs. He's a very good fastball hitter. They've been throwing him a lot of off-speed pitches, a lot of changeups, a lot of curveballs, trying to mess up his timing. When you watch him hit, you can see he's got that foot up on his toes, and he's got a leg kick. And when you throw a lot of breaking balls, that really messes up his timing.
There's a strike. Seeing that stance, it reminds me of Justin Upton, or excuse me, B.J. Upton down in Tampa Bay. He raises that front foot and puts his heel up in the air, and it's just so difficult to develop any kind of consistency.
You better get that front foot down before you swing, and I think that's what the problem is at times with Santana, is his timing is thrown off and he doesn't have that front foot down. He's a lot quieter at the plate than B.J. Upton. He has other things going on with his swing, but you're right about the heel and the leg kick. The timing has to be perfect.
Just off the plate. 3 balls and a strike. First innings are so crucial for starting pitchers just to get into the flow of the game. The Indians have outscored their opponent 65-44 in the first inning. They're an opportunistic team, and they certainly have a good opportunity here with 2 outs in the first.
Well, having a quick couple of innings, the first couple of innings, could do wonders for a starting pitcher. Right now, Villanueva is really slowing the game down, trying to get into his rhythm. This will be pitch number 21 in here in the first inning.
He gets it past Santana, and that'll run the count full. So with 2 outs, the runners at first and second will be off on the pitch. Cabrera at second. Kipnis at first. There go the runners. Cut on and miss. Santana strikes out. Once again, Santana comes up with a big strikeout. Villanueva threw a lot of pitches, but the last one is another good curveball. Second strikeout of the inning. The Indians leave 2. In the bottom of the third when they scored 8 runs on 8 hits, and he's hopeful they can do the same today against the veteran Derek Lowe. Since his return from AAA, Adam Lind has hit just .340, 17 for 50. He's hit 3 doubles and 4 home runs, and he has been exactly what John Farrell needed, a productive left-handed hitter in this right-handed dominant lineup. Rory Rasmus Bautista Encarnacion with 2 homers yesterday, Lind with 4 hits. Escobar, Johnson, Francisco, and Aaron Sebia round out the lineup, and they're facing Derek Lowe, the veteran.
Yeah, Lowe has been around. 39 years old. This is his 18th start of the season. 8-6 with a 443 earned run average, but the batters have had their way with him. You saw that very quickly. Right-handers are hitting over 300, and the left-handers are hitting 337 against Lowe.
A 317 opponent's batting average. Last time out, he went 6 innings and gave up 11 hits. He, like Villanueva, has not pitched since the 4th of July.
That last time out for Lowe snapped a streak of 6 starts without a W.
Brett Lawrie had a pair of hits in yesterday's game. He finished up 2 for 4. He drove in a run in that 8-run third inning. Over 300 for his last 24 games. There's a good breaking ball, and Lowe strikes out Lawrie.
Got to have a good defense when Derek Lowe is on the mound, and here is the defense. 46 errors this season by the Indians, the 3rd fewest in the American League. Damon, Brantley, and Chu in the outfield, and very good on the infield. Hanahan, Cabrera on the left side, Kipnis, Kochman on the right side. Santana, first time we've seen him in this series behind the plate. Casey Kochman, just 3 errors this year. He's one of the better fielding first basemen, and he made a play yesterday on Adam Lind that was sensational. It ricocheted, like off the pitcher. He went over and flipped it over to Rogers, the pitcher covering with his hand in his glove hand in one motion. It was fantastic.
Kobe Rasmus looks at one. Outside, it's a ball in the strike. Yeah, that play by Kochman robbed Adam Lind of his 5th hit. Kobe Rasmus, a little bit of a funk. He finished a 0 for 4 yesterday. He was 0 for 8 in the series. He walked and scored in the first yesterday afternoon, but that was it. Struck out twice and lined out twice.
Yeah, showed some signs his last couple of at-bats of hitting the ball squarely in yesterday's game. Unfortunately, right at the fielders. You can see over his last 5 games, not real good. 105, just 2 for 19.
And a home run came on Sunday in Chicago against Dylan Axelrod. 2-run shot in the first inning. But it's been quite an extended drought for Colby Rasmus. Full count, 1 out. Right to Casey Kotchman. Hot shot, but right at him. That's 3 straight at bats that Rasmus has hit the ball hard.
Yeah, and that time he hit it at the wrong guy. That's a good fielding first baseman right over there, Kotchman. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Derek Lowe. He's a sinker pitcher. He's got the best ground ball percentage in the American League. He'll change up with that sinker also. Take a little something off. Throws a little bit of a slider and a little bit of a cutter. Eventually it's going to come right after you with that good hard sinker and that changeup. Been around. I mean, he hasn't seen anything in this game that doesn't surprise him anymore.
This is his 374th career start. Jose Bautista. Jose got it all started yesterday in that 3rd inning. He had an opposite field double to the gap in right center. We mentioned the Blue Jays scored 8 runs on 8 hits. They had 6 extra base hits in that 3rd inning. Hot shot right to Hanahan. 2 hard hit balls, and Lowe is out of the first in order. A 1-2-3 bottom of the first. Blue Jays are hitting the ball hard early. Fans, a reminder that Tabby and I are going to take the CN Tower Edge Walk. Just 10 days to go, and we're going to do it for a great cause, the Jays Care Foundation, the charity wing of the Blue Jays. And we're going to be right up there on that Edge Walk, leaning back into those harnesses. And if you're one of the top 4 donors, you can be right with us.
Leaning back in those harnesses?
Back, leaning out over, face first. No problem at all. Should be a great time, and it's all for a great cause. Take place July 25th, Wednesday. Ball game that night will be against the Oakland Athletics. The top 4 donors, as we mentioned, will join us in that Edge Walk. Also, the top 20 donors plus 1 guest will enjoy the ball game, the Jays versus the Athletics, from a luxury suite at Rogers Center. And Pat and I will come by to rehash and debrief from the Edge Walk. Should be a great time and a great cause. So
and it's a great cause.
Get involved.
Anything is appreciated. You can see on that shot of that, the people walking up there, the website where you can go ahead and make a donation. and it's for Jays Care, so you know it's a good thing.
BlueJays.com/edgewalk, and you can log on and make your donation and get on the list to join Pat and I way up on top of the CN Tower. Gonna have cameramen up there. We're gonna walk around the tower and do a little play-by-play.
We're not doing the opening from up there. I know that. And you know, I've learned one catchphrase: trust the rope.
Trust the rope. Trust your stuff. That's what we're always talking about with pitchers.
Yeah, we tell the pitchers to trust their stuff. We have to trust the rope. I don't know if I can do that.
Babe Brantley just gets another hit into the gap. Rasmus cuts it off, but Brantley's going to end up at second base. He is now 7 for 9 in this series. He's on fire.
Yeah, he is very confident at the plate. Villanueva got ahead of him again with a couple of fastballs. And then Brantley, was very patient, very quiet at the plate, just rips that curveball right up the gap and outruns it for extra bases. Right now, he is locked in.
Raised his average 13 points since he got here at Rogers Center on Friday night.
That's hard to do.
This late in the season.
This late in the season.
That's a big move. Brantley's up to 301. Leadoff double. Casey Kochman, the first baseman. Well, Villanueva was able to get that first pitch in there for a strike. But the Indians, they're a very patient team. They average almost 4 pitches per plate appearance. So they'll make you work.
Yeah, and I think pitchers should know that. They can get a hold of that they're going to take a lot of pitches. Why not throw the first one right in there?
Kochman hits it to right field. Bautista getting set up for the throw to third. Strong throw, but it's offline. Brantley advances over to third on the flyout. Well, Bautista got into good position, backed up on that throw, and you can see he's frustrated. The throw was offline.
And he had a chance. He had a chance to get Brantley at third base if the throw was online, and he knows it. That is a textbook way to get yourself in position, plant your right foot, get your momentum going towards the base, and uncork a good throw. That time it was just sailing on him a little bit, and he knows that he had a shot to get Brantley.
So with the runner at third and 1 out, the infield will play it in. Johnny Damon, the veteran. Damon did not play in yesterday's game. He was 2 for 3 in the opener on Friday night.
I was looking at some of the numbers and some of the people that Johnny Damon is now getting close to all time. And I saw that he needs 10 runs scored to tie Mickey Mantle all time for runs scored in baseball. Now, how about that? Your name being mentioned along with Mickey Mantle.
He's had a marvelous career and had a lot of impact on good teams. Yankee teams, the Boston teams. That started out in Kansas City. It's hard to imagine that he was once with the Royals. He and Carlos Beltran roamed the outfield.
Same outfield. Damon played a little bit with the Oakland A's also.
Pops this one up. Kelly Johnson backpedaling. And he'll make the catch. Villanueva made a good pitch and got Damon to pop up.
That fastball looks so inviting. You see Johnny Damon talking to himself. It looks so inviting when it's up and in like that. You figure all I have to do is just drop the head of the bat on here and get the ball into the outfield, and I've got myself an RBI. But that pitch really surprised him, and he couldn't do anything with it.
Now, those are gimme RBIs. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. Number 9 hitter Jack Hanahan, the third baseman. Hanahan got off to a good start with Cleveland and then suffered some physical problems. Eventually ended up on the disabled list, and he hasn't been able to get his stroke back since. He's hit .346 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. It's been one of his strengths.
Yeah, this whole Indians team is one of the best at hitting with runners in scoring position. When you don't have a lot of power like the Indians, they don't have that. They've got to be able to get those big 2-out hits, clutch hits. They certainly have the hitters to do that. Their approach at the plate.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Right on and missed. Hanahan strikes out. Another curveball from Villanueva gets him out of a jam. Middle of the second, it's scoreless. Edwin Encarnacion, 2 homers yesterday. He's one off his career high. Lynn had a 4-hit game, and Yun Escobar went deep. Number 6 for Escobar came yesterday afternoon.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Indoor baseball in the 3rd and final game of this 3-game series against Cleveland. Cubs have split the first 2 games. Cleveland won on Friday night 1-0. The Jays won 11-9. Thanks in part to the big bat of Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin hit 2 monster home runs in the game yesterday. 2 runs shot in the 3rd, and a long home run to the Sightlines restaurant in the 5th. Center field, but Brantley, about medium depth, is camped under it, and Encarnacion is out.
That second one he hit yesterday was as impressive as any 5th deck home run that I've seen hit here.
Got tremendous power to center field. He hit it up there above that Honda sign into the restaurant to a very surprised group of diners. What was that? Adam Lind, we mentioned his 4-hit game yesterday. He drove in 4. Could have had 5 hits had it not been for that great play by Casey Kochman in foul ground at first. But that was his 5th career 4-hit game. Right back to low. Underhand toss, 2 quick outs here in the 2nd.
That's the thing with Derek Lowe. He likes to work quickly. He'll challenge you. He'll throw a lot of pitches right at the bottom of the strike zone. So you got to set your sights a little bit different. Might want to move up in the batter's box a little bit. Try and catch that ball before it sinks. Escobar caught one yesterday, a high fastball from Ubaldo Jimenez, and hit it into the 2nd deck. His 6th home run of the season. He is starting to swing the bat with a little bit more authority.
Well, there's that sinker that runs right back over the outside corner as Lowe gets ahead. 254 for the season. We mentioned his 6th home run of the season yesterday. Tom Hallion, the veteran crew chief of this umpiring crew, calls a swing on Escobar. It's 0-2. Boy, the bottom dropped off that last pitch. 88 miles an hour, but it was a disappearing sinker. Indians have been tough on Escobar. Another ground ball. Cabrera at short throws out his counterpart. Another quick inning for Derek Lowe. 6 up, 6 down. He's kept the ball on the ground. Making his 3rd start of the season. He was pushed into the rotation with all the injuries, and he's held his own. 11 innings, 11 hits. Big number, 1 walk. He doesn't get himself into trouble with the walks.
Yeah, could easily be 2-0 in those games. He faced Angels, and the Angels are 3rd in the American League in batting as a team. Kansas City 5th in the American League in batting. So it's not like they're facing the bottom of the barrel when it comes to offensive teams. Those are 2 very good offensive teams, and he pitched very, very good baseball. I love the 13 strikeouts and just 1 walk.
It's a great ratio, and today he has 3 strikeouts already. All 3 strikeouts coming on the curveball. Chu was a strikeout victim in the 1st. Pulls this to first base. Boy, a tricky little hop, but Encarnacion was there. He had good position, was able to make the adjustment, and goes to the bag to retire Chu.
Edwin just looks so much more comfortable this year at first base. His range is better this year. His hands are a lot softer. I was talking to Brian Butterfield about Edwin Encarnacion and his play at first base, and he says, you know, once a guy goes out there, has some success, and has the success that he is having offensively, don't you think that's going to make him a better all-around baseball player? And I think that's what's happened with Encarnacion this year.
I agree with you. He's totally comfortable, and I think that has a lot to do with his success. Brian Butterfield really gives him a good foundation at first defensively, and boy, he's played well. When you really think about it, Edwin is a 3rd baseman. Came up with the Reds as a 3rd baseman, so the transition should be an easy one for him, but it's taken him a little while to adjust. High and deep to right. The only question is fair or foul, and it is foul. Don Mahalian, the first base umpire, stationed along the right field foul line, had a good look at it, and there's a happy fan who's got a souvenir.
Well, we've talked about Cabrera having a lot of power, and you can see this one hooking and missing that foul pole just by a foot or 2. Looked like a hanging breaking ball, and he was a little bit too quick on it.
Comes back with the curveball, and Cabrera stays alive. Well, you mentioned Carlos Villanueva made a great start against the Indians last year. July 7th, he went 6 innings, allowed no runs, walked 2, and struck out 7. When he left the ball game, Blue Jays had a 4-0 lead. They would score a run in the top of the 9th and go into the bottom of the ninth, actually had a 4-0 lead going to the bottom of the ninth, and Cleveland scored 5 in the bottom of the ninth.
Boy, I remember that like it was yesterday, that home run that Hafner hit off of Luis Perez. Tried to slip one by him, but the veteran was waiting for him.
Yep, he was all over it. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Asdrubal Cabrera, the Indians' shortstop. Nice adjustment. The curveball has been the key pitch for the strikeout. Aaron Seavey wanted the fastball. They ran it up and away and strike out Cabrera.
So he showed the curveball early in the count, got a couple of strikes, a couple of loud foul balls to get to 2 strikes, and then he crosses him up and then climbs the ladder with that heater. It's about 90 miles an hour, but it's enough to get Cabrera for his 4th strikeout. That's pitching.
Well, that's the one challenge that all starters have to make. They have to mix up their approach each time through the batting order, and you hope it's 4 different times. Jason Kipnis walked his first time up. Had him all the way. No problem. You just got to position yourself perfectly. Kipnis hit a rocket right back to the glove side of Villanueva. A 1-2-3 top half of the 3rd inning. Just before you could say, I got it, the inning is over. Each Sunday at home, the Toronto Blue Jays salute the Canadian Forces men and women for their service, and today Major Corporal Bruno Robitaille was honored. Major Corporal Robitaille is from Buckingham, Quebec, and he joined the Canadian Forces in January 2001 as an armored reconnaissance member at the Regiment de Hall. So congratulations to Master Corporal Bruno Robitaille. A great tradition the Blue Jays have started this year, and certainly recognizing the men and women of the Canadian Forces. Kelly Johnson, the second baseman, leads things off. Derek Lowe so far 6 up, 6 down. 4 ground ball outs. Pat, give me your approach to a sinker ball pitcher like Derek Lowe.
Well, I think as a hitter, I think it wouldn't hurt to get a little bit closer to the pitcher. Not closer to the plate necessarily, but closer to the pitcher to help catch that ball before it sinks, because he's got such great movement, especially late as the ball is delivered towards home plate. I'd get up there and just look for it. You know you're going to get one in that at bat, and don't try and pull it, just try and hit it back through the middle.
Ben Francisco making his second start in left field here this afternoon. He is 0 for 7 against Derek Lowe. Hit and run is on. Pitch down and away. Santana throws it into center. Kelly Johnson will be credited with a stolen base. He'll move to third on the air by the catcher. That's the 5th error by Santana, and boy, they had Kelly Johnson dead to rights.
Santana just a little bit too quick. He's got the best per throwing out percentage in the American League. But that time he had plenty of time with the hit and run on to take your time, make a good throw, throws it in the center field. Blue Jays certainly will take it. Kelly Johnson's only been thrown out one time this year trying to steal.
He is now 10 for 11 in stolen bases. That's only the 6th error the Indians have committed in their last 19 games. They've really played tight defense. But that's a costly error to put Johnson at third base with nobody out. The reason it's so important with Lowe on the mound, he doesn't strike out many guys. You put the ball in play now with Johnson at third, middle of the diamond, you're going to score a run.
And that's all that Ben Francisco should be thinking about right now with 2 strikes. Protect the plate. Choke up if you have to. Wait as long as possible. Just try to keep the ball in the middle of the diamond.
The only guy that might come home, other than the pitcher, of course, would be the first baseman, Casey Kotchman. He's almost in line with the base path. And if Francisco happens to hit one right at him, he might take a shot at home.
Yeah, and that's where Kelly Johnson's really got to be able to read the ball off the bat.
Another ball in the dirt.
A ball back to the mound or a ball to the first baseman, and he cannot go home. He's going to be out. You practice it every day in batting practice. Take a trip around the bases and you help read the ball off the bat. And for these situations right here where you can get a good jump and steal a run.
Tried to catch that inside corner with the breaking ball. It's a full count. Boy, that sinker ball is tough.
Boy, you think you're on it. You start to swing, and all of a sudden it goes right underneath your bat. That was a good one to hit right there. That one was elevated.
J.P. Arencibi is on deck. He had a couple of doubles and an RBI in yesterday's game. Well, he took something off. That changeup had a lot of sink. That's a huge strikeout for Derek Lowe. Just when we talked about him not striking out anybody, he gets a big one.
You know what else it does? It brings the infield in now with 1 out. Now a fly ball's got to score him. This time he took a little something off. And Francisco swings over the top of it. Infield comes in, and now Arencibi has to get the ball in the air to get the run in.
Just really have to change your sights and lay off anything down around the knees. Got a good pitch to drive right there and fouled it back. J.P. Arencibi did not start in the game that Lowe pitched back in April in the first series of the season. Jeff Mathis caught that series finale. So this is Arencibi's first look at Derek Lowe. You can see he's on a mini hit streak. This is where discipline is so important for a hitter. You want to be aggressive, but at the same time, you better get a strike.
Yeah, you better set your sights. Make him get that ball up.
First run of the ball game is really important for anybody, but when Cleveland scores first, they're 30-17. When the opponents score first, they're 15-25.
Get him in. I think that's why they're looks like they're playing that contact play.
Lined into center. That'll get down for a base hit. Kelly Johnson will jog home. And the Blue Jays have scored first on the RBI single by J.P. Arencibi. His 43rd ribby of the season.
Watching him over the last week or so, you can see him starting to get his stroke back. And not just the power stroke. This is a solid piece of hitting. Plate coverage, being able to handle the ball down and away from it. That wasn't that bad of a pitch from Derek Lowe, but a good piece of hitting from Arencibi.
Blue Jays are on the board first, back to the top of the order. Brett Lawrie struck out on a breaking ball his first time up. We can watch a million baseball games, and every time you watch one, that leadoff walk will come around to score 9 times out of 10.
We have said that I don't know how many times over the years, how important throwing strikes and making them hit their way on.
Laurie, a chopper to third. Hanahan throws quickly on the run in time to get Laurie. Aaron Sevia moves into second. Hanahan knew well he had to throw quickly and unload it in a hurry. I can't tell you how many times as a catcher you go to your pitcher and say, listen, let's get this first guy. First strikes of at-bats, first outs of innings are huge. Change the whole ballgame.
We have seen in the past pitchers who end up giving up a leadoff single somehow find their way out of the inning without that guy scoring. But if he gives up the leadoff walk, somehow he finds his way around.
Well, you've been in the dugout when your team gets a leadoff walk and you go, okay, we got him now.
Yeah.
The guy just gave us a free base. Colby Rasmus grounded out to first in his only at bat.
See, I think Colby Rasmus should be able to hit Derek Lowe if he makes him get the ball up. He's right on top of the plate, and he's a little bit closer to the pitcher than we have seen before. He's not back in the batter's box. He is up on the plate and closer to the pitcher, and if he gets one of those pitches, I think he's going to hit one hard. There's really no room for Lowe to go.
That was always a challenge to a pitcher. When you look in there and the batter's standing right on top of the plate, it's as if there's no place to throw the baseball. You can see how close he is, and it looks like he's moved up forward.
Yes.
On the plate against Lowe.
A little bit closer to possibly catch that sinker.
Hey! There's the breaking ball. You don't see many modern day players move in the box too much. They all have developed a batting stance, and they're not comfortable with them unless they're standing in the same footprints. But it's interesting that Rasmus appears to have moved up about 10 inches from his normal position in the box, and that might allow him to catch that sinker before it moves dramatically.
That's why I think he, if it's a pitch that he can get to, should be able to hit the ball hard. Right on top of the plate. Now we've seen him a little further back in the box, closer towards the catcher.
Two balls, two strikes. Aaron Sevia at second. Drilled into the outfield. JP's going to come around third and score. Colby Rasmus. That's 4 straight at bats where he's hit the ball on the button.
Make those adjustments when you have to. That was a pretty thing right there. A couple of lineouts to end the game yesterday. Hit the ball hard to the first baseman his first time up. And it was a pitch that he could handle. Got it before it really broke. Watch where this one ends up. And he gets it and smokes it into right center.
Boy, it was down, but because he had moved up, he was able to catch it on the barrel of the bat. Bautista base hit toward the gap. Rasmus is around second. He's headed to third. After retiring the first 6 batters of this ball game, Lowe got himself into a jam when he walked Kelly Johnson to start the bottom of the third.
Watch where this pitch is again. They want it down and away, and this time it's up. And for a sinker ball pitcher to be up, you're going to run into some problems. Bautista didn't waste any time, and he hit that ball hard into left field.
Pitching coach Scott Radinsky out of the dugout. And you just have to believe this is, hey, let's get back to what you did the first 2 innings. And this is not unusual. Remember, we mentioned that Derek Lowe had given up a .317 opponent's batting average coming into this game. What was the exception was the first 2 innings when he retired 6 straight.
Let's go back and take a look at Colby Rasmus. Again, he is closer towards the pitcher. Look where that front foot ends up. Out of the batter's box. That shows you how close he is towards the pitcher.
So Edwin Encarnacion flying out to center. Bautista at first, Rasmus at third. Encarnacion's second home run of the game yesterday was measured at 448 feet. Problem with that was it was going up when it ran out of room.
I think they got the second 4 and the 8 backwards. I think it should have been 484 instead of 448.
Bautista got a huge jump, and Encarnacion will let him steal it. Well, there's a good piece of concentration by Encarnacion. He saw the great jump and just kept his bat on his shoulder. Stolen base number 5 for Bautista. Now there are 2 runners in scoring position. Didn't want anything to do with Edwin. But now he's got his hands full with a hot left-handed hitter. Adam Lind will step in the batter's box.
You know, we have talked over the last couple of weeks since Adam Lind has come back and how he has been able to hit the ball the other way. That's one of his better strokes, when he can power the ball the other way. That should be his mindset right now. With a sinker ball pitcher, a right-handed sinker ball pitcher in low, it's going to take that ball away. Plate coverage, line drive right over the shortstop. That's the thought process right now.
Rasmus, Bautista, Encarnacion. Third to first. Adam Lind has 3 career grand slams. Remember, the Blue Jays scored 8 in the bottom of the third yesterday. They have 2 here this afternoon.
Came up with a lot of big hits.
Way outside.
For a guy who had it work in the first couple of innings, and Derek Lowe had it work in the first couple of innings, the wheels are falling off now.
Mondo Jimenez had control problems yesterday, and he ran into a train wreck in the third inning. Look at the difference between Lind's batter's stance and that of Rasmus. Boy, Lind's seeing the ball well. That ball was a ball from the moment it left Derek Lowe's hand.
That's 7 in a row now, out of the strike zone. Stay with that same approach. Let it travel.
Got bases loaded walk. That'll force in Rasmus. Lind with another RBI. And the Blue Jays will bat around for a second consecutive day in the third inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Let's check in quickly with Jamie Campbell. Ivan Nova against Jared Weaver, and that ball game has gone back and forth already. Yunel Escobar with the bases loaded takes the first pitch strike. 3 runs in.
Still looking for that big hit. Knock in a couple of runs with 1 swing.
Out in front of that off-speed pitch. Yesterday, the Blue Jays had 6 extra base hits in the third inning. That's the first time since 1984 the Indians had allowed that many extra base hits in a single inning. Lowe strikes out Escobar and leaves the bases loaded. But the Blue Jays put up a 3-spot. J.P. Arencibia got it going with a sharp single into center. Colby Rasmus, with just his second career hit, drives in another. 3-0 Blue Jays. Take a look at these two swings, and we have talked about Santana on the right having a lot of movement with a high leg kick, and we've compared it to B.J. Upton.
A lot more going on with B.J. Upton, a little bit higher leg kick, but you can see there's a little bit of extra movement in there, and that will throw you off balance, especially when you're facing a pitcher like Villanueva. He likes to use the changeup. He likes to use the curveball. Got to get that front foot down.
There's so many timing issues involved in that animated swing that, boy, if everything isn't perfect, you're going to be in trouble. Travis Hafner, first pitch strike. Hafner flied out to left his first time up. Boy, that's a great example of, it's not so much about the velocity, but it's about the location and the pattern of pitches that a pitcher can make.
Low fastball for strike one. Let me throw one up here about letter high and see if Travis Hafner, who's a very patient hitter, will follow after it. He did. Now there's a couple different ways you can go.
Hafner was anticipating a breaking ball. That's why he was late bailing out.
He was late, and he was diving into it also. Looked like he was anticipating Villanueva throwing that ball away from him, and he almost jumped right into that fastball. He knows right now that Villanueva might go back to that curveball here.
Here's the 1-2. Curveball. You see what Aaron Sebia did there? I don't know if it was a decoy or what, but he might have tried to throw Hafner off. He called for a breaking ball and then watched the target.
Like it's another fastball up. He's done that a couple of times by putting the glove down, simulating a curveball. Hey, give me the curveball down here, and they've thrown a fastball.
The reason you would do that is sometimes the on-deck hitter would let the batter know where the catcher is setting up. Hot shot right to Kelly Johnson. One down. Well, the Blue Jays will go on a road trip, and then they'll come back to Rogers Center July 24th, 25th, and 26th to take on the Oakland Athletics. Make a note of the Thursday start time. It's 12:37 p.m. Oakland at the start of play today, 45-43 in the American League West. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations and pick up your tickets for the Oakland A's series.
And who is leading the American League in pitching?
The Oakland A's.
The Oakland A's. How about that for a shocker?
Well, they always manage to come up with some good young pitchers, don't they?
Yeah, you would think Los Angeles Angels with their pitching staff, you would think they'd be up there. Seattle possibly. The Yankees.
They're leading by 29 points in the ERA. Yeah, they've got some good young arms. Brandon McCarthy has pitched well for them. There's a bouncing ball. That's going to be a base hit for Santana. So he goes against the shift. Now Escobar throws one across the diamond for no apparent reason. One out. Santana with a bunt single. He's at first.
Well, he faked it the first pitch, and the second time, this is easy. Just get it by the pitcher, and you can walk to first base. He had been struggling, so you kind of figured he was going to try something like that. Just bunt the ball to get a base hit. Blue Jays were in that shift mode. Everybody on the right side of the diamond.
Just to finish up a note on the Oakland Athletics, they have 3 pitchers in the top 10 in ERA. From Tommy Malone, they have Brandon McCarthy and Jared Parker. And they've got young pitchers and very effective pitchers. So it'll be a fun team to watch when the Blue Jays are back in town. That'll be the next homestand, and all starts July 24th. Michael Brantley, they haven't been able to figure out how to get him out. He is 7 for 9 in this series. Sometimes when I was catching have a high hitter like this, I'd say, Michael, we're going to throw you a fastball this time. And be very definitive about it. And then he starts to get a little doubt. I wonder if he's really serious.
You used to say that to me all the time that I came up.
Gonna throw you a fastball, Tabby.
I never believed you.
Sooner or later, we're going to. Popped him up. They got a chance to get him out. Escobar, the shortstop, makes the grab. Brantley's retired. So that'll bring Casey Kochman to the plate with 2 down. Boy, Carlos Villanueva can make it look easy, can he?
Yeah, the way he is operating. He talks about, I prepare myself to be a starter. I prepare in between to go 6 or 7 innings. And he makes it easy when he's throwing strikes, working quickly, and using all of his pitches.
Carlos, by his own admission, just ran out of gas last year. They pressed him into the starting rotation. And toward the end of August, he was done. He said, I just didn't prepare myself for being a starter. And in this off season, he worked hard. He lost a lot of weight. He lost about 25 pounds. And got himself into exceptional physical condition. Good throw by Arancibia, and Santana just back ahead of the tag.
And he prepared himself to go a little bit deeper in case they need him as a starter. As you see, Santana has to get back quickly before that snap throw from Arancibia.
No count to Casey Kochman. Out in front of it, pulls it foul. Kochman hit a 2-run home run in the 8th inning in yesterday's game. That came against Jesse Chavez, who gave up 2 2-run home runs in that inning. And after the game, Chavez was sent back to the minors. Chad Beck has taken his place, and Beck is here in the ballpark. Yes, he flew overnight from California to get here with the Blue Jays. Three and one. Carlos Santana, the catcher, had a bunt single. Each club with 3 hits. There's another walk. Comes with 2 outs. That'll bring the tying run to the plate. First, Johnny Damon. Johnny Damon, the veteran, making his 42nd start in left field. Inside until after spring training. Kochman at first, Santana at second. There's a strike.
Remember last time they got Johnny Damon on a fastball that was up with the runner at third base? It'd be interesting if they change it up a little bit. Instead of going back to that spot, because Damon, he just missed that pitch. He popped it up that time. See if they change it up and maybe stay away from him this time.
Johnny Damon is a very good inner half hitter, and he's good down. And that curveball not quite as effective against Damon as it might be against some of the other hitters.
He's a smart hitter too. He hits good pitching. He's a clutch performer. And right now it looks like Villanueva and Arancibia are having different thoughts on how they're going to pitch him this time.
Well, and John Farrell knows that the pitcher has to have the last word. He's the one that's going to throw the pitch, and he's got to believe in what the catcher is asking him to do.
No, he's prepared. I mean, he does a really good job of watching film in between starts, watching when he's on the bench of the opposition, and preparing for each one of these starts.
So again, Villanueva way out in front at 0-2. For the series, Cleveland just 3 for 21 with runners in scoring position. There's that breaking ball down and in, and Damon strikes out. Aaron Sevia's throw to first, and the Blue Jays get out of the fourth. Another good curveball, and Damon chases it down and in. Handcuffed Aaron Sevia, but he's able to recover and get out of the inning. Get your day's time baseball fix with Sam Cosentino and Dirk Hayhurst on Baseball Central at noon. Weekdays on Sportsnet 590, The Fan. And right here on Rogers Sportsnet on the simulcast. Going to bring you up to speed on everything that's going around. Got some great guests and a little different perspective. Sam Cosentino and Dirk Hayhurst. Baseball Central at noon. Great atmosphere around the Rogers Center today. The roof is closed and people have come out and supported this ball club very well. Over the weekend, they've had two crowds over 32,000 so far. And looks like they've got another nice turnout here today. Kelly Johnson drives it to left. Johnny Damon is there. And Johnson is retired.
Ball doesn't have as much sink as we saw the first couple of innings, and he's not keeping it down. Ball hit hard right at Damon and stayed right with it. That's the whole key to hitting a sinker ball pitcher. Make him get that ball up.
Blue Jays lead it 3-0. When Francisco struck out his first time up. There's that sink. Boy, it gets right there out over the plate, and you think you got it, and then it just disappears.
You pull your head just a little bit. You got to really keep your head down. Concentrate down in the strike zone.
Yeah, you really got to think about driving the ball to the second baseman. The opposite middle infielder. You're right-handed, you hit it to second base. You're left-handed, you drive it to the shortstop, just like Kelly Johnson did.
Yep.
Stayed on it and just went the opposite way.
All that does is keep your shoulder down, keep your head down. Start flying open a little bit. That head's going to follow, and you're going to miss it.
Pulled off that pitch and strikes out for a second time this afternoon. 4 strikeouts now for Derek Lowe.
Yeah, you can see that front shoulder leaking just a little bit for Ben. And he comes up empty against Derek Lowe.
J.P. Arancibia drove in the first run of the ball game. A sharp single into center. just missed that ball. Breaking ball out over the plate. He pops it high into center. Just 9 pitches gets Derek Lowe through the 4th inning. Blue Jays lead 3-0. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. '19th is Ricky Romero bobblehead day. The Blue Jays will take on the Texas Rangers. The game begins at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Ricky Romero bobblehead. Ricky's bobblehead is the 3rd of 3 bobbleheads in this year's collectibles set. The others include Brandon Morrow and Yunel Escobar. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations to get tickets for Ricky Romero bobblehead day, August 19th. Ricky Romero will pitch the series finale against New York on Wednesday afternoon. The Henderson Alvarez, Brett Cecil, and then Ricky Romero in those 3 games against New York.
And the return of CC Sabathia, who will throw on Tuesday in New York.
Ted Canahan is 0 for 1. Number 9 hitter in the lineup, and that's not exactly what Carlos was thinking about.
Yeah,
falling behind 3-0.
Time to come all the way back. We showed that graphic of his last couple of starts. He's had just 1 walk in his last 2 starts. He's had 2 already this afternoon. The bad thing about that, on top of putting guys on base, that runs your pitch count up. Asked John Farrell today, what are you hoping to get out of Villanueva? And he said 6 innings minimum.
Save during the plumbing, cooling, and electrical sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Once again, you're always concerned when you give up that leadoff walk. And that's what Villanueva has done here in the top of the 5th. Top of the order. Sin Shu Chu.
And he has been red hot. The Blue Jays have been able to keep him under wraps here in this series. Since they moved him into the leadoff spot, he has raised his batting average 60 points.
He's 1 for 10 in this series, and the game plan has worked very well. Both Chu and Cabrera have been relatively quiet in this series so far.
Yeah, keep those guys off at the top of the lineup. Since the middle of May, coming into the series, he's had the second most multi-hit games in baseball. Blue Jays have done a good job of pitching to him.
Ball and a strike. More often than not, anytime you shut down the top two guys in your batting order, you're going to have a pretty good day. And for the series, Chu and Cabrera just 2 for 20.
You usually have your best on-base percentage players at the top. Keep them off. That's always a good thing. You usually have good speed. Plus, you got the middle lineup hitting without guys on base.
Nothing ball game. Blue Jays have really scored a ton of runs of late. Had 11 in the game yesterday. Last game against the White Sox closed out the first half. They also won by the same score, 11-9. We were talking to John Farrell before the game. Said, "Boy, you're scoring a ton of runs." And the first thing he thought about, we've been shut out twice in the last 3 days. Things change dramatically when you're the manager.
How about 11 runs and then 11 runs and right in the middle of it, zip.
1-0.
1-0.
And they lost the 2-0 game in Chicago. 2 balls and a strike. Chu is late on that fastball.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out. Of course, the first thing you say, well, who was starting against you? And for the Blue Jays in that first series, Justin Masterson was great.
And they were shut out by Gavin Floyd and Matt Thornton in Chicago. Floyd went 7 2/3 and shut the Blue Jays out on just 4 hits. Masterson was equally tough. 2-2. 2 strikes out. Carlos Villanueva picks up his 6th strikeout.
Well, he totally pulled the string on Chu by throwing him a changeup. 2-2. You can see the timing really messed up from Chu, the batter. Villanueva's got a couple of different pitches that he can throw at any time to get you out, and he is really mixing it up well this afternoon.
Asdrubal Cabrera has gone 1 for 2 so far. Breaking ball downstairs. I think one of the real assets that Villanueva has is that he never panics. He understands that he's going to give up a base runner here and there, but he's always thinking about the effects of the next pitch, not the effects of the last one he threw.
One pitch works with the next one. One pitch sets up the next one. Depending on what the batter does, figure it out. But if he's throwing that changeup over for strikes and he's throwing that curveball close enough that they swing at him, he's got just enough fastball to get it by him. And that's your 3 pitches that you can throw at any time and count. Got to make a good one here.
Cabrera pulled off that pitch badly. Another good pitch in a good spot. Over the last couple of years, you could argue that Villanueva has been as valuable as any pitcher on the Blue Jays staff. You just don't look at his stats. You look at how important he is as a long man first and foremost, and then as an emergency starter. And boy, when you can fill that starting rotation from within, that's a real benefit.
Changeup. Yeah, throw out the records and ERAs. His ability to give you different job descriptions, if you will. If you need him for a long man, if you need him for an 8th inning guy, 7th inning guy, or a starter. That's a pretty valuable guy to have on your team. Managers certainly appreciate it.
Well, and you know what he is. He's going to be consistent. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bouncing ball. Encarnacion steps on the bag. Throw to second. In time. What a double play. Started by Edwin Encarnacion. He has played stellar defense at first base. That time he steps on the bag and makes a good throw to second. Encarnacion, very patient, waits on it, clears the base path, strong throw in time. Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, and that has been it. They have a 3-0 lead. Both teams with just 3 hits on the afternoon. And Air made a contribution in that 3-run inning. The Air by the catcher, Carlos Santana, on a stolen base by Kelly Johnson. Johnson went to 3rd and came in to score the first run of the ballgame. Right back to the top of the order, Brett Laurie struck out and grounded out. Right on the outside corner. Been quite an interesting day for Derek Lowe. He's retired the side in order in 3 of the 4 innings. But that 3rd inning, he gave up 3 runs on 3 hits and walked 3 in the inning. Just lost it in the 3rd.
All started creeping up just a little bit. The bottom of the order got it going for him. He's got a good ability to take that sinking fastball to right-handers and throw it to the outside part of the plate. Been watching him for years, and normally you'll see right-handers throw that ball in to the right-handed batters, but he can keep that ball away.
Full count. Breaking ball bounced in the dirt. Derek Lowe is an interesting pitcher in that he's one of 3 pitchers in Major League history to have 160 wins and 80 or more saves. Dennis Eckersley, John Smoltz, and Derek Lowe are in that exclusive club. Guys that have started in the past. And of course, Derek Lowe started his career with the Seattle Mariners and went to Boston in a very lopsided trade.
Still one of the best trades ever by any organization.
Derek Lowe and Jason Varitek came to Boston in exchange for Heathcliff Slocum.
Slocum had a good year as a Boston closer. So they traded him at the right time.
Cabrera behind second. Good arm. Boy, he really made a strong throw. Off balance to retire Laurie. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Came off Luis Mendoza, the big right-hander. And the White Sox, they look like they're for real. They're serious about this thing. Home run came in the first inning with 2 outs.
You know, if they are serious, they might need some bullpen help. They got too many young kids down there.
Yeah, they sure do. We saw that firsthand. They had 6 rookies when we were there in Chicago, and since they have sent one of them back. But when you look at that team, they've got pretty good starting pitching. Chris Sale is starting today against Kansas City.
They catch the ball, and they've got good starters.
And they have some guys having career years. Konerko, Rios, Dunn, Pierzynski. A.J. Pierzynski's having a phenomenal season.
Largest increase coming into this series in on-base plus slugging. The 2 best from last year to this year are Chicago White Sox. Dunn and Rios. Mark Trumbo is the other one. Edward Encarnacion a 4th, and Colby Rasmus is 5th because he makes adjustments. There he is again, right on top of the plate.
The breaking ball this time, he's out in front. You mentioned how Rasmus moved up in the box against Derek Lowe. Watch where he makes contact on that RBI base hit he had, way out in front of home plate, almost 1.5 feet in front of home plate.
Remember when your little league coach would say, hit the ball out in front? Well, Colby was listening. Hit that one out in front.
And when you were 12, you had no idea what he meant. What do you mean out in front? Out in front of what?
Out in front of the plate, right? Out in front of you. That was a picture perfect swing right there.
And that's what you hear from the bench all the time. Hey, get the head out. Full count. Drilled into center field. Brantley breezes back easily and makes the catch. Another hard hit ball by Colby Rasmus. You can't change your approach when you're hitting it that hard.
No, you can't. You just got to keep doing what you're doing, and they will even out eventually. Once again, he goes down and gets it and smokes that ball to center field.
Boy, that's 5 straight good at-bats that Rasmus has. He has just 1 hit. I mean, 5 in a row where he's hit it right on the button.
They will even out.
That's what they say.
That's what you have to keep telling yourself.
Well, Jose Bautista has fallen into second place in the home run department. Adam Dunn has taken over.
And if you're going to get one this afternoon against Derek Lowe, you're going to really earn it. He has allowed just 6 home runs in 101 innings this season, second fewest in the American League.
That one got away from him. He was lucky that was high. He's thrown almost 3 ground balls for every fly ball he's given up. And that trend has continued here this afternoon.
I think he'd be really good for the Blue Jays in this ballpark. John Farrell has told us time and time again, sinker ball pitchers in this ballpark work. And here's a veteran, a guy who has done it in the past.
The breaking ball, Bautista, and the check swing foul at the plate. Trade deadline's coming up on July 31st, and you have to believe with as many teams in the hunt for those postseason berths, there's going to be a lot of activity. Another breaking ball, and Lowe again. Another 1-2-3 inning. The only hiccup for Derek Lowe was a 3-run third. Only runs in the ball game. Tomorrow night from New York, Henderson Alvarez will open up the series against the Yankees, and Alvarez is a key to the Blue Jays' success in the second half. It'll all begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn. That's 3:30 Pacific Time. First of 3 from Yankee Stadium. The Blue Jays have won every game against New York this year.
The only problem is
they've only played 2.
And Alvarez is going to have to be good. Heading into today's game, the Yankees have scored at least 3 runs in 38 consecutive games.
A-Rod went deep today, and they've been concerned about his lack of power. It's always fun when you go to Yankee Stadium, and Henderson Alvarez will look to get his second half off on the right foot. It'll be Alvarez, Cecil, and Ricky Romero in the 3 games. Ball on the strike. Jason Kipnis, the second baseman. The Yankees pitching rotation will be Phil Hughes, the right-hander. Hughes at 9-7 for the season. He'll start on Monday night. CC Sabathia coming off the disabled list at 9-3, and Hiroki Kuroda. Kuroda's pitched very well for the Yankees. That'll be the afternoon game. It starts at 1:05 Eastern Time. But the Yankees, when you look at how they are putting things together, you just have to look no further than the offense. Derek Jeter's had a bounce back year. Robbie Cano hitting .315. Kipnis fouls it into the seats. Runs batted in. Mark Teixeira has 59, and he's starting to heat up. He's a perennial slow starter. But Jeter is second in the league in hits with 114. Granderson is tied for second in runs scored with 63. And their bench has really played well. Andrew Jones. They've done a good job filling in.
Eric Chavez
at third base has been great.
So many veterans sitting on that bench for Joe Girardi's team. They've had their share of injuries.
Still don't have Brett Gardner. And he's not even on the radar screen yet. He's been out all year. Full count to Jason Kipnis. He's already walked once here this afternoon. It's this ball on the right side. Kelly Johnson quickly to first. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. They've had a good series down there in Tampa Bay behind David Price. Beat Clay Buchholz, but I tell you what, Clay Buchholz was really good.
Yeah.
He returned from the disabled list, and he looked sharp. Red Sox are going to get Carl Crawford back very soon. Ellsbury has a hit today, back in that leadoff spot.
I read today that they think Carl Crawford's going to play tomorrow.
They're anxious to get him back.
Yeah, that would be huge.
So what do you do then? You sit Daniel Nava?
He's like 7 for his last 60.
Yeah, he's cooled off a bit.
Yeah,
he's down to 263 now.
Yeah, he has really cooled off. So yeah, I think that's the play.
Pedro Siriaco has done a great job filling in for Dustin Pedroia at second base. He's hitting .476 in limited at bats, but gotten some big hits for them.
He has used that changeup very effectively this afternoon versus those left-handers. Villanueva dealing right now. You got to figure if this 6th inning, if he can get through it quickly, they might have a chance to send him back out for the 7th.
0-2 to Hafner. Did he go? Yes, he did. Chad Fairchild calls Hafner out, who can't believe it. He turns and asks Alfonso Marquez, but it was Fairchild down at third that called him for the swing.
Couple of high fastballs wrapped around a changeup. That is the side view of it.
Well, Hafner's got a beef.
Yeah.
Looked like he checked in time. That's 7 strikeouts for Villanueva. That ties his career high set in his last start against Kansas City.
You know, the impressive thing that Villanueva had in that last start against Kansas City that you were just talking about, he had no 3-ball count in that start.
So you know Escobar has adjusted against Santana, who dropped a bunt down his last time up. The remaining 3 infielders still playing Santana to pull, but now Escobar has taken that bunt away.
Time for a changeup right here. 2-0 count.
Popped up, playable over near the Blue Jays dugout. Aaron Sebia hits on top of the dugout. And JP disappeared in the dugout. You feel much more comfortable as a catcher going over there chasing those pop-ups when you're going towards your dugout.
You got somebody right there to catch you if you fall. Everybody but the manager. He was there.
He was there in spirit, at least. But he knew Brian Butterfield and Don Wakamatsu were going to be there and make sure JP didn't fall into the dugout. Where was that? Curveball looked like it split the heart of the strike zone. 3-1 count. Two-out walk issued to Santana. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are representatives of the Boy Scouts of Canada. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. Welcome to the ball game, and certainly you've been entertained by very good pitching duty. Only been 6 hits in the game. It's a 3-0 ball game. Michael Brantley, the center fielder.
He's got one of them. He doubled his first time up to run his hit streak to 13 games. Got that one out of the way early. He had a 22-game hit streak earlier this season, which is the longest in the majors this year. Now right at 300 for the season. He's got exactly 100 hits on the year.
Now you look at the hit streaks in the American League. Adam Jones had a 20-game hit streak. Adrian Gonzalez had an 18-gamer that came to an end on the 7th of July. Robinson Cano has a 17-game hit streak going into today's game. Bullpen starting to go to work for the Blue Jays. That's the right-hander, Jason Frazier.
We were saying that if this was a quick inning for Villanueva, he might have been able to get 7 out of him, but now up to 93 pitches. So if he can get through this one, it'll probably be it.
He falls behind 3-0. Casey Kochman is on deck. Villanueva has walked 4. Pours that fastball in there.
He really reached back against Travis Hafner and struck him out with that high fastball. And now he's got to reach back for a little something extra.
And he misses. That'll be the 5th walk of the afternoon issued by Carlos Villanueva, and back-to-back 2-out walks here in the 6th.
This would be a good time, I was going to say, to have Bruce Walton go out there and talk to him again. Give him a little bit of a blow. It's been a long inning. He had a strikeout and a couple of walks now. He's up to 96 pitches, and after that strikeout of Hafner, it just doesn't look like his fastball's there. Looks like he's lost a little bit. So it's a good time to get back there, talk to him, let him catch his breath just a little bit.
Plus, it gives you the ability to give Jason Frazier a few more pitches down in that bullpen to get loose. But when you have an extended inning as a pitcher, you need to have a little break and give yourself a chance to regroup.
It's most pitches he's thrown in a game so far this year.
Casey Kochman has 9 home runs. His 9th came yesterday in the 8th inning. And you can bet he's looking to ambush a fastball.
Right now, they have stayed in on him this afternoon. Walked him last time up and then flew out to right field his first time up.
Takes his strike. Brantley at first, Santana at second. A 3-0 ball game. Jays have the lead. Kochman sitting breaking ball.
But a couple of those fastballs go right by. That's what we talk about, pitchability, smarts out on that mound. Villanueva certainly has it.
Another fastball, and Kochman lays off.
He's just reaching back with everything he's got left right now.
Now you can bet he understands where he's at in the ball game. Next pitch will be 100, and he's going to be done after this inning. So you make sure you clear your mind, have a good idea what you want to do, and then give everything you have left to that pitch.
See if you can backdoor a breaking ball here. I don't think you want to go inside at all with everything soft against Kochman. If you do go soft, go away.
The appeal down to third. This time Fairchild said no swing. So it's a 2-2 count.
CB with a quick meeting on the mound. I'm sure he told him, hey, look, let's go with this pitch right here. I'm not even going to give you a sign. So that runner at second base can't steal it.
No signs indeed. 2-2, 2 out. Kochman again protecting the strike zone with 2 strikes.
Yeah, that swing right there by Kochman tells me he's sitting on something off speed. Just fight off that fastball and wait for that breaking ball.
Five of the 7 strikeouts have come on either curveballs or changeups.
Throw a good one. Throw a good one and you'll get them.
What a battle between Kochman and Villanueva. Villanueva wins it. He strikes out Casey Kochman and strands 2 base runners. His 8th strikeout of the afternoon, a new career high. He leads 3-0. Thank you, Jamie, and a real seesaw battle there in the Bronx in New York. Meiser Sturis playing second base with his home run, his first, came off Ivan Nova. Sturis drives in 2. He now has 12 for the season. So when you look at that powerful Angel lineup, that's the last guy you think about hitting a home run to give you the lead. Those 2 teams are going down to the wire in my mind, the Angels and the Rangers in the AL West.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The pitching is just too good on the Angels side.
Albert Pujols is up to 271, but more interestingly, Pujols has 53 RBIs. And he had a terrible start to his career in the American League, but he is right where he should be. A lot of speculation that the Angels are in conversation with the Minnesota Twins, talking about Francisco Liriano and Matt Capps. Everybody just kind of assumes that the Angels are deep in pitching, but yeah, Dan Herron on the DL.
On the DL.
Santana has been bad all year long, and they just might be worn out.
And their 5th spot hasn't been very good either.
Edwin Encarnacion takes the leadoff walk. Second time he's walked this afternoon.
Save during the plumbing, cooling, and electrical sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Indoor baseball here at Rogers Center, 26,407 in attendance. For the 3 games, the 2 clubs drew 91,232. Pretty good weekend crowd in a short 3-game series.
Fans love this team. They come out and they watch them, and you see them always around the ballpark, and they're always talking about the Blue Jays. Blue Jays got to give them something to cheer about. Win a few games, stay in this wild card race. Should be a lot of fun late in the season.
Hot shot to second. Kipnis to Cabrera. Back to first. Double play. Adam Lynn grounds into the 4-6-3 double play, so that erases the leadoff walk.
He's the best in the business. Derek Lowe right there. That's 20 ground ball double plays that he has served up this year. Even though you walk that leadoff batter, his ability to get that ball on the ground just negates it. Blue Jays' first base runner since the 3rd inning.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the only hiccup all game long was that third inning for Derek Lowe. He's retired the side in order in 4 of the 5 innings coming into the 6th. He went 6 up, 6 down to start the game and then walked Kelly Johnson to begin the bottom of the 3rd. Pulled on the ground. Hanahan, Kochman, inning over. So Derek Lowe would love to have that 3rd inning back, but the Blue Jays scored 3. Carlos Villanueva, another good outing. He has a 3-0 lead. And looks like Jason Frazier will come on to start the 7th. Inside the Numbers brought to you by the Aspire Travel World MasterCard from Capital One. Inside the Numbers, we're going to take a look at the offensive ranks this season for the Blue Jays. They're 10th in average, 2nd in runs scored at 441. They're starting to hit a few more doubles. They've matched their home run production, and they've been a clutch-hitting ball club all year.
Yeah, the important thing is runs scored, and they are 2nd behind the Texas Rangers in runs in the American League. That's how they keep score, by scoring runs. So it doesn't matter how you get there. 10th in average does not equate to a bad offensive season. Hitting the home runs and scoring runs is what John Farrell wants to do, and that's what the offense has done so far this year.
Jason Frazier pitched in the opener on Friday night, worked an inning, gave up a hit, and struck out a batter. This has been a very consistent formula for John Farrell. Frazier in the 7th, Oliver in the 8th, and Jansen in the 9th.
Yeah, that inning ended on a pop-up that Edwin Encarnacion ran under. Remember that? It was up in the twilight and nobody saw it. Encarnacion saw it right at the last minute. There was a runner on base. He was at 3rd base in a 1-0 game. But you're right. Frazier has done a great job this year. He leads the club in holds with 11.
Johnny Damon is 51st all-time on the career hit list. He is next on that list at 50 is Andre Dawson, the Hall of Famer. And he'll have to wait to close ground on Dawson. Bautista, the right fielder, has a long run, but he gets there. Frazier on in relief of Carlos Villanueva, and it's an interesting pitching line. 6 innings, just 3 hits, no earned runs, a new high in walks allowed and strikeouts. So he was able to avoid the impact of that career high 5 walks by setting a career high for strikeouts with 8.
And now get the W. That's the thing right here. The career day for Villanueva. I thought he had a good fastball and a good curveball and a changeup. He mixed it up well. Got the 6 innings that Farrell was hoping for, the minimum 6 innings this afternoon, and that'll help set up the bullpen.
The one thing Farrell really wants from his bullpen is somebody to complement these 3. You got Frazier, Oliver, and Jansen, as we mentioned, and they have been lights out. But what he's looking for, and what he talked about last night after the emotion of Jesse Chavez, is just give me somebody that's going to put up a 0. 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th inning. Somebody that will keep us in a ball game when we're behind. Just put together back-to-back zeros. This offense, I mean, if you were a pitcher and you had the ability to put up a few zeros in the middle innings, you're going to win some games.
Yeah, you're going to have that chance to do that. And he said, I don't care how you get there. Just give me that 0. You mentioned the 3 guys, the Frazier, Oliver, and Jansen. That's how it's been lately. I think every good bullpen has to have at least 4 relievers that you can count on, or eventually you're going to burn the guys out. 3 just isn't enough.
And when one of them is 41 years old, you have to be very careful. And Aaron Oliver obviously takes great care of himself, and there's just times when he needs an extra day of rest.
So if you have those 4 guys that you can count on, you can pitch 2 each day and still get enough rest for the other 2.
Frazier strikes out, hand-to-hand, 2 outs. Here is the manager talking about his philosophy about relief pitching.
However guys do it, whether you have a low 3/4 slot, throw overhand, if you throw 1 type of pitch for strikes or 3 types of pitches, we're at the point where there's opportunity for anyone that walks in here. And if guys can't grab a hold of an opportunity and take a job, we're going to find the next guy.
That's pretty much in black and white. You don't have to interpret anything that John Farrell said in that clip. And that was after watching his bullpen give up 5 runs in the top of the 8th in yesterday's game. And there are opportunities available. And we saw the newest Blue Jay pitch in yesterday's game, Aaron Luke. He came into the ball game and had 2 perfect innings.
Yeah, they're reaching all the way down to Double-A now to find some guys who can throw strikes and get outs. Sammy Dyson is in the bullpen.
Shin-Soo Choo gets his 2nd hit of the series. A 2-out single. Is check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, pitching is thin everywhere, and you're starting to see guys come back. And Ben Sheets started an all-star game not too long ago, 2008. He was a great pitcher for Milwaukee, but hadn't pitched in a couple of years in Atlanta. I think he made 2 rehab starts, and they said, come on up. We'll take anybody we can find right now.
They've won 6 in a row. GMs are turning over any stone where they can find a pitcher somewhere this time of the year.
Atlanta is 3 games back in the NL East. And that's what's kind of interesting when you hear talk shows and people on sports talk shows and fans say, well, the Blue Jays need to trade for some pitching. Well, hello. Everybody in baseball is trying to trade for pitching right now. We just talked about the Angels, and the perception is they're pitching rich. They're looking for pitching, bullpen and starters. Chicago's looking for bullpen. The White Sox, they need bullpen. The Yankees are entertaining picking up Ryan Dempster. Everybody's looking for pitching, and it's just hard to find. And if you do make a trade at this point, you're going to pay a lot.
Yeah, it depends on what you have to give up to get those pitchers, and you have to make a decision. Do I give up the best pitchers in my farm system for a guy who might get me to the playoffs?
And now the problem is you get in the playoff and play in that 1-game wild card, you could be one and done. And you've mortgaged 3 years of development in your farm system.
Yeah, it's a tough decision for GMs this time of the year. The next 2 weeks are going to be very, very interesting the landscape of baseball.
So if you think the Blue Jays are unique in their desire to add pitching, you're wrong. Three and one. Top of the seventh inning, Blue Jays lead at 3-0, trying to win this series against Cleveland. This will be it between these two ball clubs. Blue Jays won 2 of 3 in the season opening series in Cleveland. And that was an interesting series. It could have gone either way. Blue Jays could have swept the series, or they could have been swept.
Yeah, it was a unique series, to say the least. It all started with that 16-inning job opening day. But you're right, a couple of breaks here, a couple of breaks there. Blue Jays could have swept that series, or they could have been swept. I mean, Masterson threw a great game opening day, had nothing to show for it. Jimenez threw a great game and didn't have anything to show for it. Derek Lowe was the guy who pitched well in that third game, game that the Indians won.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The runner at first, Chu, is off on the pitch. Here it is, a little tapper up the first base line. Frazier gets to it quickly, and Chu is out. Boy, what a heads-up play by Jason Frazier. Asdrubal Cabrera came out of the batter's box, but Frazier knew immediately if he could get to it, he could cut off Cabrera before he ran past him. A heads-up play by the pitcher. Cabrera arguing the ball was in foul ground, but look how quickly Frazier goes after it, knowing if I can get to it and tag him, I can get out of the inning, and that's exactly what he did. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Good turnout for the 3-game series against the Cleveland Indians, over 91,000 in attendance. New pitcher for Cleveland will be Joe Smith, pitching in his 40th game. Derek Lowe had just 1 bad inning, and it cost him.
3 walks and 3 runs. Joe Smith, 40 games, like you mentioned, that's tops on the team. Comes from down under, that sidewinder type of delivery. It's been very effective. He's got 5 wins out of the bullpen. And he also has 13 holds for Maniac's team.
You mentioned the 4-man combination, and the Indians have that. with the left-hander Tony Sipp, Joe Smith, Vinny Pistano, and Chris Perez. It gives them a very solid bullpen where they can close out some ball games.
And it gives Maniaca some options if he wants to rest some of his big bullpen guys.
Well, too, and the object of having 4, like you said, if you use 2 one night, the other 2 are ready the next night, and you can alternate that. Nobody gets worn down. Good fastball, and Johnson strikes out.
Save during the plumbing, cooling, and electrical sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
One out, bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays are up 3-0. Ben Francisco. Francisco struck out twice. He is starting for just the 2nd time in left field in place of Rajay Davis. And a breaking ball. He's in the hole. But there's not a reliever in baseball that won't tell you some relievers pitch when the team's ahead, some pitch when they're behind. And managers quickly realize the personalities of their bullpen. Guys are comfortable pitching a couple runs down. Get into the ball game, you come out, throw up a couple of zeros, walk back in. We had a guy like that in '85 in Dennis Lamp. He was lights out. Team down by a couple of runs. He finished up the season 11-0.
11-0. He'd come in when the team was down in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and he could throw 3 innings.
Francisco shoots one down the right field line. That ball bounces off the wall. He's headed for second. Hughes throw, not in time. Ben Francisco, his 5th double of the season, comes with 1 out here in the 7th.
You know, and the Indians just did Ben Francisco a huge favor. First 2 pitches from Joe Smith from down under breaking balls, and he got ahead 0-2. He wasn't even close to hitting them, and then he tried 3 fastballs. And that one in the middle of the plate, inside out swing, and he gets a double. Spins another breaking ball there, and he probably has them. But he does him a favor, throws him a fastball, and Francisco gets himself a base hit.
So Francisco will leave in favor of the pinch runner. Then finishes up 1 for 3. Rajay Davis takes over at second base. JP Arancibia 1 for 2. He's driven in 1 and scored a run. Indians better keep their eye on Rajay Davis. He'll steal 3rd in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Kipnis has now gotten a little bit closer to the bag at second base. Davis will be loose. He was up there. He knew this inning that if Francisco got on, he was going to pinch run for him.
Oh, they got him hung up now. Rajay broke, and Smith did the inside move. He slides but gets tagged out by the second baseman. Davis bounced off, and Joe Smith did that inside move, and they get Rajay in the rundown.
He knew that he was going to try. Watch Smith. The inside move is when you start and then you back up and throw the ball and point that foot to the back at second base. That totally throws off Rajay Davis. And it's a pickoff.
It's caught stealing. First time Davis has been caught trying to steal the 3rd. Dan Oliver is loose and standing by in the Blue Jays bullpen. Full count to Arancibia. Joe Smith on in relief of Derek Loeb. Well, gave up 3 runs all earned in his 6 innings. He allowed just 3 hits. Smith strikes out Aaron Sebia. Blue Jays go down in order. They've gone down in order in every inning except the 3rd. That's why they have a 3-run lead. Darren Oliver on to work the top of the 8th. Budweiser, why not grab some buds? Please enjoy responsibly.
When you're facing a sinker ball pitcher like Derek Lowe, you got to set your sights down in the strike zone. You talk to your batting coach, you say, what do you think? Look down and don't take any wild swings. J. Pierre and Sebia, a nice piece of hitting right there. Plate coverage. Hits that low sinker into center field. How about Colby Rasmus? He sets his sights down in the strike zone and he gets himself an RBI by taking it back through the middle. You want to be a good hitter, you got to be a smart hitter. And that's today's smart play.
It's all about adjustments, and Aaron Sebia and Rasmus made a couple of very good adjustments. And now John Farrell will go to the reliable veteran Darren Oliver to pitch the 8th.
He'll get a couple of left-handers and then a switch hitter to start the 8th inning. Oliver has been magnificent in his 37 games this year, 2-2 with a 138 earned run average. Take a look at that batting average against. Outstanding. Doesn't walk anybody, and he does a great job of working his way through innings. As Oliver gets set to throw.
Rajay Davis came into the ball game as a pinch runner. He takes over defensively in left field. So Oliver will face Jason Kipnis. And jumps ahead of Kipnis. Escobar backhands for the out. The third base umpire, Chad Fairchild, had the best perspective and made the call immediately that Escobar caught it cleanly.
Boy, Kipnis got down that line also. And he would have beaten it out. It's a line drive, and it's got a little English on it, but Escobar stays right with it, backhands it right before it gets to turf. Well, that all-important first down. He shows it to that third base umpire, Chad Fairchild. He's been playing some good shortstop.
He sure has. He's worked very hard at it, and he's out there every single day early. He's on the other end of the fungal bat from Brian Butterfield, and they put a lot of time in. He could sit back and rest on his laurels, but he doesn't. Same for Encarnacion across the diamond at first. A lot of hard work. Popped in the air. Foul territory. Encarnacion near the first base coach's box, and 2 quick outs. Darren Oliver makes it look easy.
37 games that he has pitched in this year. He has only been scored on in a game 5 times. And that's what you want. You want that consistency. You want a guy who can come in and tight ball game and shut down the opposition, and Oliver has certainly done that.
As we heard from the manager, he doesn't care how you do it. You can roll it up there, throw it sidearm, throw it underhand, but if you put up a 0, you're going to get the baseball more often. 2 outs. Carlos Santana, the switch hitter, batting right-handed for the first time today. Boy, if I'm in the locker room with Darren Oliver and I'm a pitcher, I'm wearing him out. I am sitting there every day and say, D, tell me, what's the key to your success? High but playable. Colby Erasmus over in the gap, and the inning is open. Darren Oliver comes out of the bullpen and throws just 7 pitches. Indians down in order in the 8th. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. For the inside scoop and latest stories from the Blue Jays and around baseball, visit our MLB Mashup blog on sportsnet.ca. Features Sky Davidi and Mike Cormack, and they'll keep you up to date on everything in the baseball world and take you inside the Blue Jays locker room to bring you the latest and up-to-date news on the Blue Jays. Sportsnet.ca. Check out the MLB Mashup. Another good ball game. Pitchers have championed the day once again. Just 8 hits in the ball game for both teams. Each team has 4. Blue Jays have 3 runs, and that's it. It's a 3-0 game. Brett Laurie out in front of that Smith offering and hooks it foul. Brett had a couple hits in yesterday's game, drove in a run. 0 for 4 in the opener. So far, he is 0 for 3 this afternoon, and he pops this one up. Asdrubal Cabrera near the bag at second, 1 down. Well, Brett Laurie pops up. That's the first out of the inning. Colby Erasmus had a big hit in this ball game back in the 3rd. An RBI single to center. He's got 54 RBIs now for the season.
He has been putting some good at-bats together. The last couple of games, you can tell that he's going to start coming out of it. He's been smoking line drives all around the ballpark this afternoon.
He's had 5 straight line drives. His last 5 at bats, he's hit the ball hard every time. Just 1 hit in those 5 ABs.
That's why I like that stat, that batting average with the ball in play. I mean, you could have a low batting average when you hit the ball because of the way he's hitting it. He is having good at bats. He just doesn't have anything to show for it.
Got the count in his favor now. 2 balls and a strike. Got under this one. Chu, the right fielder, makes the grab. 2 outs. Kevin Oliver had a 1-2-3 8th inning. He's talking to Bruce Walton. Michael Brantley, Casey Kochman, and Johnny Damon, 3 left-handed batters, are scheduled to bat in the top of the 9th. So you can see Oliver is still in this ball game mentally, toweling himself off, getting prepared to go back out there.
What did he throw? 7 pitches?
Through 7 pitches. He's got a lot left in his tank.
Casey Jansen has worked the last 2 days. 14 pitches on Friday, 17 yesterday.
And they would like not to have to go to Jansen. He's pitched 3 in a row just once this season, May 28th, 29th, and 30th. That was against the Orioles, and he picked up 2 saves. But it's a long season, and you want to just be as conservative as you can.
And if you don't need in a 3-0 game, why not give him a rest before you head to New York?
Yeah.
Probably going to need him in New York.
Well, you hope so.
Yeah, we all do.
You hope you have the leads. Bautista out in front off the end of the bat. But now this is the part of managing that people don't necessarily always understand. When you say, well, why doesn't he bring in Jansen, or why doesn't he bring in Oliver? Well, it's a long season, and you have to look at the overall impact of those early games. They're all on a pace to pitch more games than they have in their history. Frazier, Oliver, and Jansen.
You have to look now, today. You also have to look a couple of days ahead. And he's obviously thinking about that series in New York. Now, if it gets away from Oliver, they might bring up some pinch hitters, some righties, and it gets testy, then he certainly can have Jansen into the ball game quickly.
Well, and that's the thing, too. You've got Shelley Duncan on the bench, and you got Jose Lopez, 2 real good right-handed hitters. Duncan homered in yesterday's game. Bautista drives it to center. Brantley looking up. It's over his head and bounces out of play. Jose Bautista with his 2nd hit of the afternoon. A double. Bounces out of play. His 14th double of the season.
I think he felt like he was pulling off a little bit on Joe Smith, so he really wanted to stay on that ball. And that's what he does. Watch how he stays on it and drives it over the head of the center fielder, Brantley. Bautista came into this game a career .291 hitter against the Indians. Shows why. Good piece of hitting there.
A big run at second with Bautista now in scoring position. Edwin Encarnacion hasn't had much to hit all afternoon. He's walked twice. Joe Smith in his 2nd inning of work gave up a 1-out double to Ben Francisco, and then the pinch runner Rajai Davis was caught stealing, and he struck out Aaron Seavey to end the 8th. Edwin had 2 home runs in yesterday's game, and that moved him right among the top 4. You look at Dunn, who homered today to give him 28. He's taken over the lead. Bautista Hamilton with 27, and right behind him, Edwin Encarnacion.
And that's why the Indians have pitched him extremely careful this afternoon.
Best 1-2 punch in baseball, Bautista and Encarnacion. They have combined to drive in 126 runs and hit 52 homers. Blue Jays have tied up their core players through 2015. And you got a great foundation to build upon with Bautista and Encarnacion in the middle of your order. Bounced foul. Another key to that puzzle is Adam Lind. He gives you a right-handed thumper if he can regain the form he had a couple of years ago. He's signed through 2015 as well. And if you can keep 3, 4, and 5 in your batting order together, then you've got the youngsters like Laurie and Rasmus. Complement that with JPR and PZEP's power.
Yep. And more on the way, too. Blue Jays have some pretty good prospects in AAA to choose from.
Just talked to a former manager who's now scouting, and he said the Blue Jays have the most position prospects in AAA in the Coast League of any organization. He mentioned Dorno, Hechavarria, Gose, and Yan Gomes. He said Blue Jays have more position prospects in their AAA ball club at Las Vegas than anybody in the league.
Sierra also was mentioned in the top 5 for the Blue Jays. Moises Sierra, an outfielder.
The downside of that is none of them can pitch.
Everybody's always looking for some pitchers.
3-2. Hanahan waits on it at third. Cross the diamond. In time, and the Blue Jays will strand the base runner. So we will go to the top of the 9th. Darren Oliver set to come back out and start the inning. It's a 3-0 Blue Jay lead. Nothing, and Michael Brantley will start things off, and he has had some series against the Blue Jays. 7 hits in the 3 games so far.
Blue Jay pitchers have tried everything. They've tried to go hard fastball. They've tried to go soft away. They've tried up. Anything they have thrown up there, he has hit in this series. Maybe they should just try throwing it right down the middle. Maybe he'll get himself out. But what a series it's been for Brantley.
Told you they should just tell him what's coming. Might cause him to pause just for a second. Oliver ahead, throws a first pitch strike to Brantley. It's Brantley, Kochman, and Damon with scheduled hitters in the 9th. Another breaking ball. This one misses inside.
Blue Jays trying to get a shutout for the first time in a month. Last time they shut out a team was June the 15th. And the winning pitcher in that game.
This ball is scorched to center field. Rasmus looking up and can't make the grab. Brantley has another double. His 8th hit in the 3-game series.
Hitting everything. Like I said, trying to get that shutout. Villanueva won that game a month ago, and it looked like Rasmus had a shot at that ball. 26 doubles now for Brantley.
And that is his 6th straight hit against a left-handed pitcher. Oliver gives up the leadoff double. Man, this is going to get interesting. Casey Kochman with the leadoff runner at second. Johnny Damon is on deck. But remember, they have Shelley Duncan, powerful right-handed hitter, on the bench.
There he is right there. You bet he's up there swinging a bat in between innings. Indians made it interesting yesterday, late in the game. Scored 5 runs in the 8th inning to make it a 2-run game.
And he is now putting his batting helmet on. Kochman hits it on the ground. Laurie wide of third. Plenty of time. That's the first out of the night. So Johnny Damon has been called back to the dugout. This ball off the end of the bat by Casey Kochman.
And the range once again comes into play for Brett Lord. Great range as he cuts that ball off and flips it over to first base for the first out.
Shelley Duncan coming on as a pinch hitter. Duncan had 3 hits in the game yesterday, including a 2-run home run. He's batting for Johnny Damon. Good rip there, and he fouled it straight back. Darren Oliver's ahead 0-1. He's an artist out there.
Yep.
Just paints, throws it where he wants to, and knows the weaknesses of the batter he's facing.
Totally by design right there. He knows that Duncan's coming off the bench, and he knows that he's in swing mode. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to get his 3 swings. So why not throw one up and out of the strike zone? See if he'll chase it.
Oliver ahead 0-2. On the ground. Escobar from short. 2 down. Jack Hanahan was the scheduled batter. Jose Lopez is loosening up in the on-deck circle. Lopez started in the game in a cleanup spot yesterday, had a single in 4 at-bats.
That's not the guy they're worried about right there. He can only keep him down by 1 run. It's the tying run at the plate. So Oliver wants this guy right here. Keep him off of second base.
Darren Oliver misses with the first pitch. Sin-Chu Chu, the leadoff batter, on deck. Oliver has not had a save since April 27th of 2011 against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Little BP fastball, 2-0 BP fastball to get that batter out in front. Mess up that timing just a little bit right there. Hooks that ball foul.
just off the inside corner. 3-1. Darren Oliver's longest stint this season was 2 1/3 at Texas against the Rangers on May 26th. He threw 37 pitches in that game. He is well rested this afternoon. Broken bat. Laurie lets it go for Escobar. Long throw inside. Ball game. Blue Jays shut out the Indians 3-0. Darren Oliver picks up a 2-inning save. Clutch hitting. The Blue Jays scored all of their runs in the 3rd inning as they got to Derek Lowe. Other than that, he shut them down totally.
Yeah, he was good, but Villanueva was better. Last time Blue Jays had a shutout 1 month ago today. The winner in that game was Villanueva. He was brilliant with 8 punch-outs this afternoon.
Well, the Blue Jays win the series. They go back to a game over 500 at 45-44. Stay tuned. Baseball Central coming up right now.